This video is not a proper tone demonstration of the guitar. I don't have the microphone, the recording space, or the skills, or the calibration, or anything like that, so that you can get an accurate idea of what the guitar sounds like from this. However, it may still be interesting. It's an extraordinary instrument. See what you think. Well, here's my Yamaha FG9 M. Amazing guitar. Really tremendous thing. If you want a dreadnought that can do everything, if you want the dreadnought that is like the next generation dreadnought, this is probably it. So it's got the mahogany back and sides, and it is lush. You can't really see that here, but I can. And ooh, what a deep gloss. That is a lovely color. Fit and finish is obviously tremendous. Interestingly, when I got this guitar, I thought, oh no, there's something wrong, because the D-string intonation was way off. But later that day, panic solved. I just changed the strings, and it was fine. Speaking of strings, this takes 12s, and you don't mess with that. If you got an FG9, you don't mess with that. Now, how do I know? I tried 11s of it, and it was completely wrong. It sounded terrible. Now, normally, a dreadnought guitar, any reasonable acoustic guitar, you can put lighter gauge strings on it. It'll be a bit quieter, a bit easier to play. You might need to adjust the truss rod. Who knows? But it'll be fine. This thing, no way. Similarly, I have information, good authority, that the designers of this guitar insist that you don't go higher as well. So normally, if you had a Martin dreadnought, you'd put 12s or 13s on it, depending on your preference. No, you don't put 13s on this either. And it's something to do with, not that it's not strong enough, it's just that it's got like next generation mechanical engineering going into the top. And the particular tension that it's under is optimized for this set of strings. So that produces a specific response from the top. And I think that explains also why it sounded really terrible with 11s on. And normally, you can put 11s on a dreadnought and it won't sound great, but it'll sound fine. It didn't sound fine. So yeah, stick with the 12s. Doesn't have to be the elixirs that they put on in the factory. Once that was resolved, the intonation on this guitar was absolutely impeccable. And it's still impressive. I've only played 2 acoustic guitars that are so good, and the other one's another Japanese-made Yamaha. I don't have that much experience with acoustics, but my fork, for example, the intonation is not remotely as good. In fact, the intonation on this guitar is better than some electrics that have got fully adjustable saddles. I don't know, phenomenal intonation. Maybe they do careful things with adjusting the nut to make that work so well. I don't really understand. What matters, fit and finish, beautiful, intonation, everything's fine, playability, great. The neck shape, it's the right width for me. It's 1 3/4, we would call this here. I think it's something metric, so it's tiny, a little bit different from that. The neck shape, it's a solid neck. It's not their laminated neck that you get on the L series guitars. It's just a solid mahogany neck. It's got a bolt-on neck. So there's bolts inside there. I don't know why that's a good thing. I have no idea. But it means that you adjust the truss rod here like you do on some electric guitars. You unscrew this little plate and there's a truss rod adjustment in there. Practical matters. Apart from that, what really matters is the tone on this guitar. Unlike any other acoustic guitar I've ever played, this has the most even tone and the biggest dynamic range, which is astonishing, really. Even, when I say even, I mean up and down the scales, up and down the fretboard, and up and down the strings. So across the strings, it's more even. Obviously, it's not even because it's an acoustic guitar. It's just, it's an imperfect thing. Everything is when you're building out of wood. There's something, they've done something really sort of like next generation with this thing. I'll see if I can demonstrate that a little bit. So, let's run through some scales. Let's try an E minor scale, I guess. So G major, E natural minor. Lots of bass. There's no shortage of bass. It's got its boom, such as it is. It's a muted boom on the G. Those are quite loud. The G's loudest. The E is plenty loud, but not quite as prominent as the G. Then with the A, we're back to natural. But these variations I'm talking about are fairly. If you're playing something like a Seagull S6 or a Martin Dreadnought, these differences are bigger. Seems to be a wolf tone, very, very muted again on the F, on my LJ56 guitar. That's on F sharp. Notice how the fundamental decay is very much quicker than the overtone. So the second harmonic stays, but the fundamental goes away. It's something to do with the way the back resonates. More obvious when we play it up here. Especially if I pluck in the middle. At the end, you can only hear the ringing overtones. There, I've got a proper full note with the fundamental. It's even more obvious up here. So most guitars, any good responsive guitar is going to have something like that going on around there, somewhere in that vicinity. That's fine. And indeed on this guitar, it's less than on my LJ56. And not a problem in practice. Usually you're playing. You're not playing these notes up here. They don't, it's not, you're not going to notice unless you're hunting for it. But so those two are the unevennesses that you find in the bass register. So if you want to strum a chord with a bass in it, you don't have a bass player in your band, then your G chord is going to be good. Let's try the bluegrass G as I go, which is a G5 chord without the third. That's with the third. Sounds fantastic. Let's see how loud this guitar goes doing this. That's not even. This thing is so loud. You keep putting more work into it, and you've got to really attack the thing before you notice it's compressing. Yeah, it's something else. And it's the same tone you get when you play quietly as when you play loud. See what I mean about the evenness of tone? If I go up to the plain strings, it's going to be a bit different. Well, you can see my tuner in the reflection. See that down there? I'll move that out of the way. So, oh no, I'll just turn it off so you don't have to get distracted by that. Or I don't. finger picking, you know. I'll try though. Well, look, that's a piece for classical guitar, and you know, I'm doing my best with steel string and narrow string spacing relative to the 2-inch nut on the classical. Sorry, I can't play very well. I'm a crummy guitarist. Oh well, these things happen. Amazing guitar, but why am I going to trade it in? Well, it's too big. It's a dreadnought. It's really loud. I don't actually have a use for that, at least not right now. I haven't done for recent years. And third, I do find playing 12s slows me down, and I flub more notes. It's harder. It fatigues. I miss notes when I'm trying to do things quickly, and I'm just having a hard time getting over it. Also, for me, this sound, this uniformity, and very sort of middle down of the road, this is what an American acoustic guitar, steel string acoustic guitar, should sound like. I'm not completely gelling with it. I'm not bonding. I'm not in love with it. You know? I've had this in April. This has been my guitar, fully paid for, since April. And it's December now. If I was going to fall in love with it, I would have done so by now. And so I think somebody else should play it, rather than me. Because I'm more likely to pick up something a bit smaller and easier to play. But boy, oh boy, this thing is a performer. it's just me playing badly. That's why it's out of tune. Where was I? Would you be surprised to learn that I played electric guitar most of my life? Nah, that's the difficulty. I just don't have the gorilla grip, you know? I don't have the pumping iron in the fingers like I should. Gotta start with the pick on the right side here. Second part of this etude, I'm not sure if I can remember how to play it, to be honest. No, I can't. Similar to the first time through, but then we do. That's wrong.
still, it's tip top. Quite something.